What causes a tight and/or painful piriformis muscle? Very good question. Hey everyone, this is Dr. Charlie Johnson, physical therapist, and in this video we're going to answer that question. I'm going to share with you the 4 reasons that I found to be the cause of piriformis and/or glute tightness. So if you've got pain or tightness in your butt or your piriformis area and you've tried everything else, all the standard and usual treatments such as massage and stretching it and rolling it out and things like that, and it's not working, then this video will help you understand why it's not working as well as a different way to think of it and sort of what you can do about it. Now, to be clear, the purpose of this video is not to diagnose your condition and sort of tell you that you have piriformis syndrome and or not. If that's something you're looking for, then I recommend you check out my Better Than an MRI DIY diagnostic guide, where I share with you step-by-step how to figure out the cause of your pain and share it in a flowchart format so you can walk through it top to bottom. So let's dive into it. So many people with back and sciatica problems experience tightness in their glute and or in their piriformis area. And basically this is a spot smack dab in the center of your buttock, and the usual treatments, massage and stretching and things like that that almost everybody else on YouTube recommends may work in some cases, but in most cases they actually just make things worse. And the reason is that because the root cause of the tightness or the source of the tightness is just not being addressed, so you're missing the boat. Meaning, you think that you're targeting muscles that are tight, but if treatment to sort of loosen up those muscles is not working, chances are very high that what you think is tight is not actually tight, but instead may be due to one of these 4 reasons. So here are the 4 causes of glute and piriformis tightness. So the first reason that your piriformis muscle might feel tight is due to not a problem in the piriformis, but usually a problem upstream. So true piriformis syndrome, true piriformis problems are actually quite rare. And instead, most of the pain and tightness that people experience in this area are actually referred signals from the lower back. So how can you tell? Number 1, if you have lower back pain, well, that's a sign that something in your back might be causing the pain downstream in the buttock. Or number 2, you can just move your back and see if it switches on the pain and or tightness that you experience in your butt or your leg. All right, so here's what I mean when I say, you can move your back to see if it can switch on the pain or tightness in your butt and or your leg. If a problem is upstream, meaning the back is relatively upstream and or above the butt and or the leg, which we could refer to as downstream, right, where you feel the tightness, well, an upstream problem can cause anything downstream to hurt. So if you want to learn more about this, again, you can check out my DIY diagnostic guide, but this is the idea, right? If your back is the problem, you should be able to move your back and cause pain or tightness to be reproduced or worsened, right, in your butt and or your leg. So here's what you want to do. Your back can only move so many different directions. It can move north or forward, it can move back or south, it can move right or east, left or west, northeast, southwest, right? And then there's some in-between directions. Northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, right? And you could argue there are kind of infinite little slices within that, but to get a big picture idea of if your back, moving your back, reproduces the pain or tightness in your buttock, which means it's actually the source of the symptoms, then this is the way that you want to do it. So we first want to start out by moving the back in sort of the north direction, all right? Straight ahead, forward, straight ahead to the right, we'll call it northeast, and then straight ahead to the left, forward and to the left, northwest. And to do this, you can kind of be very ninja about how you run this experiment, right, and be very clean about how you do it, or you can sort of just do it generally, but I like to be really scientific, so here's what I'll say. If you have a pain or tightness in one butt cheek or one leg, what you want to do is, if you're sitting and you're moving your back in these different directions, you could argue that the reason that you feel the tightness or the pain in the butt cheek is because you're sitting on it. So to remove the element of compression within the experiment, if you have pain on your right leg or in your right butt cheek, for example, or that's where you experience the tightness, then go ahead and just let it hang off of the seat. So now it's floating in the air and you no longer, again, have that variable or element of compression in the experiment. You remove it, right? And now you just can isolate the impact of back motions on the tightness. If your symptoms are in the left butt cheek, that's where you feel the tightness or the pain, right? Then just float the left butt cheek off of the chair. If you have pain in both butt cheeks, well, you're just going to have to sit there and do the best you can, or maybe put a pillow or a cushion there to soften things up. That being said, here's what the experiment looks like, and here's the first 3 directions that we'll test to see if moving the back or something upstream can switch on the tightness in your butt or your leg. So let's just say that I have symptoms in my right butt cheek and I'm trying to see if the back is the cause of the right butt cheek tightness. What you would do is you would hang that right butt cheek off, remove the element of compression, and now we just look at the back. So I want you to go First, just straightforward. Again, if this is something, by the way, that you've been told not to do, or for some reason you're scared or fearful or worried of doing it, please don't do it. But if you can tolerate it, then it's a good thing to begin testing. So what you want to do first is just reach down towards the floor as far as you comfortably can. And that's just straightforward. That's north. And you want to ask yourself, does that reproduce or cause the tightness in my buttock to get worse, or in my leg, or wherever you feel it? Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the right. So take your hands, put it over top of your right knee, and bend forward over the right knee as far as you comfortably can. Does that reproduce the tightness in your butt or your leg? Now go to the left, northwest. What does that do? Right? For same, better, or worse, right? Does it bring it on or does it not? Does it reproduce the symptoms in your butt cheek? If it changes it, if it reproduces it, right, then that tells you, hey, something about moving my back seems to be the cause of the tightness that I feel here. Whether you have back pain or not doesn't necessarily matter, all right? But if moving your back reproduces the tightness, then it points to a back problem. All right, so now what we want to do is we've gone north. Now let's go east and west. Let's go right and left and see if that causes any type of tightness or twang or pain or whatever in the buttock. All right, so what you want to do is you want to stand feet about shoulder width apart. Let's just go to the right first. All right, put your hands on your hips and you're just going to bend to the right. So I'm kind of pushing my hips a little bit and bending over to the right. I'm kinking down on the right side. Does that reproduce any pain or problems in your buttock? Now go to the left. Same thing, but now you're closing down on the left side. Does that reproduce any pain or tightness in your buttock? The final three directions that we want to do. So far we've done north, so forward, forward to the right, northeast, forward to the left, northwest. We've gone right, east, we've gone left, west. Now we've got to go south and all the directions in between. All right, so the first thing you want to do is we want to go now backwards. All right, so just turn to the side so you can see, feet about shoulder width apart, hands on your hips, and just go ahead and bend backwards as far as you comfortably can. Does that cause any type of tightness or pain in your buttock? So we just went straight backwards. Now what you're going to do is we're going to go southeast. We're going to go back to the right. So what you're going to do is you're going to twist to the right, twist, and then bend backwards. From the side, it looks like this. Twist, bend straight backwards. It's a straight backwards bend. So when we're rotating, we're extending, we're closing down on a lot of the structures in the back right side of the lower back, all right? And the things around it, including the SI joint and things like that. So it doesn't exactly tell us what it is in the back, but it tells us something about moving, right, an element upstream. The back, the SI joint, something like that causes the pain in the buttock, which tells us it's not just a buttock problem. It's a back problem causing the buttock tightness. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go southwest, all right, backwards to the left. So same thing we did on the right side. You're going to twist to the left, kind of take my hand and I put it on my back, and I bend straight back. From the side, twist to the left, and bend straight back. And so you can see, right, that we sat and we leaned forward. We leaned over the right knee. We leaned over the left knee. We bent to the right. We bent to the left. We went straight back. We went back to the right, and we went back to the left. We checked off all the boxes. We went sort of all around the clock, if you will, and moved our back in many different directions. And we're pretty thorough about it. And the goal was to see if an upstream sort of switch or movement, moving the back, caused the tightness in the butt. So often, whether you have back pain or not, butt tightness, leg tightness is caused by a problem upstream. And the number one most common referred site of pain for back problems is, yes, in the back, but the back can refer right to the buttock. And it makes you feel as though you have tightness in the buttock or in the leg, but it's actually a back problem. So give those things a go and let me know what you discover. And if you're curious and you want to just, rule out anything else going on because you think it's piriformis syndrome, but now you're having second thoughts, right? Again, check out my DIY diagnostic guide to get to the bottom of it. The second reason that the piriformis muscle often feels tight is that it could actually just be overstretched. So you think it's too short, but it might actually be too long. So oftentimes, what feels tight in the body is actually just overstretched. So you want to ask yourself the question, is it possible that the piriformis muscle, or the glutes in this case, that I feel are tight, are actually just loose and overstretched? And this is a really good question, and to help you answer it, at the end here, on the end screen, I will link to another video I've done in the past that will help you determine via simple DIY test, you can do it in like 20-30 seconds, whether or not your glute or your piriformis muscle, which you think is tight, is actually tight or not. So just recognize that muscles that are overstretched are less able to do what they were designed to do, to stabilize the body, right? And so sort of like a rubber band that's been stretched out too much for too long, right? And it gets floppy and brittle. Muscles function best at an optimal length. The third reason why tightness is caused or experienced in the piriformis muscle is because it's actually underpowered and overworked. So muscles that are underpowered create an artificial feeling of tightness, right? So your body might be craving stability and strength in that hip or buttock area, but you just don't have it. So the body tenses up and tries to give it what it can. So the glutes are a large muscle group, and they have a lot of potential to supply us with power and force and move our body. But in this case, it's possible that the glute muscles just don't have enough strength or endurance to handle what you're asking it to do. Run or go upstairs or get up out of a chair or whatever. And if you've overworked it in the past, the response could be that it tightens up and you can experience pain. And, in this case, again, the muscle might feel tight as a response to being overworked, but it's actually just tired and fatigued. And the fourth cause of this tightness that you might experience in your piriformis area may be tightness that's a function of your brain and not your body. Let me explain this. So pain is sort of like your body's alarm system. Pain is a danger signal. And when your body senses danger, it puts us in high alert. When something hurts, we tend to guard or tense our bodies as a sort of protective mechanism. And if you've got piriformis syndrome and or sciatica or some other issue causing tightness or pain in that area, then it's very possible that you're walking around just guarded by clenching your butt cheeks. Also, it's possible that, yes, you're feeling tightness in your buttock, but your body is actually okay. Instead, your brain may have been making a mistake. So if your pain or tightness began around a time of stress, good or bad, think a move, a divorce, a loss, a change in career, financial stress, something like that, right? And doctors are doing lots of different tests and or unsure as to the cause of your problem, or they can't agree upon what's going on, then consider that your brain is experiencing the stress, also a danger signal, having a hard time sorting things out, physically as a pain in your butt. So there you have it. Those are the 4 reasons or root causes of tightness in the piriformis area. I guess you could have actual true tightness there. Again, you can check out the video here I'll share in a moment. That'll help you determine if it's tight or if it's not. But at the end of the day, most tightness that people experience is not actual tightness. It's perceived tightness. And none of this means that the tightness you're experiencing is made up or that it's not real. It just means that sometimes what we feel or what we think isn't accurate. That's all. And making a snap judgment to stretch something or massage something, just because we're told to do it, or we think we should, or because it feels tight, might not be accurate or the best solution. So as promised, check out some other helpful videos so you can see, again, is it tight, is it not tight? You can check out my DIY diagnostic guide. I've linked that in the beginning of the video as well as in the comments below. Be sure to hit the like button as well as the subscribe button if you found this useful. Hit the bell also when I post videos every single week. You'll be notified. And finally, let me know your thoughts about this video in the comments below. Thanks everyone. Until next time, we will chat soon.